Approach Control, this is Podcast 1.
Go ahead, Podcast 1. This is Approach Control.
Tower, this is Free Range Texan Airways. We've turned on final approach and are beginning our descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten your seatbelt sign and has informed me that we will be landing on schedule for our bi-weekly Free Range Texan podcast. Please remain seated until Podcast 1 rolls to a complete stop. On behalf of our captain and crew, we thank you for flying Free Range Texan Airways.
Quiet, Studio A. Quiet on the set. Control room?
All set. Edit wave rolling. Tracks are hot.
Mic check, sweetie pie.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 3.
Michael, give me a sound check.
Hello, check. All right, team. Episode 16. Who'd have thunk it? Let's give it our best.
Thank you, Michael. All set. Attention in the studio. Stand by. Action.
Well, howdy, y'all. The Free Range Texan podcast is underway. This here program is a special look at the way life is shaping up for folks in the U.S. of A., seen through the eyes of a born and bred West Texan. Our host is a veteran broadcaster who is known for his campfire visits on radio. Michael Sean is standing by.
I'm actually seated comfortably.
So here he is, our host, a real free-range Texan himself, Michael Sean.
Episode number 16. Hi, y'all. Welcome out here to 18PR's fabulous Studio A, as we got our regular crew that has showed up on the podcast. They've been slaving back there putting this show together. These people are amazing. We've got a heroes and heroines file. Cowdogs are special, and we'll give you an example of that. Also, the free range talent file. We came across a guy by the name of Derek Bohl, who is a really and true breath of fresh air when it comes to music production. Is something special. He is something new, unlike anything that we have brought to our stage in the past. So Derek's going to be on the show, and we want to thank the folks at 18PR. The PR in 18PR stands for Public Relations. You can go to their website. You can get on over to freerangetexan.net. You can find out all about 18PR. Also, we end up, you guessed it, at the campfire. Beyond that, I couldn't help but notice that our green room, the area where folks come in and sit down and have a cup of cowboy coffee and some snacks, wait to be guests on our program, is once again without its bottle of Stubbs barbecue sauce. I'm not pointing any fingers, but it seems like every time we have another guest lounging in our green room, when we say goodbye to them, the Stubbs barbecue sauce goes with them. If you don't have Stubbs barbecue sauce available to you, you can get the best barbecue sauce that you ever flipped a lip over. It's Texan-made Stubbs barbecue sauce. We recommend it so much that we sell it in the freerangetexan.net House of Treasures. And when you get your bottle of Stubbs barbecue sauce, you help out our podcast. It's showtime, y'all. Let's get ready to ride.
Have digital microphone will travel. This show not made in New York City, not made in Hollywood. I'm thinking we should turn this one up, y'all. You're listening to the Free Range Texan Podcast. And now it's time for another edition of our Heroes and Heroines File. Mike Laughlin and Lee Rain are cattle ranchers in Nevada. The dogs, Tip, a female border collie mix, and Taz, a male registered Australian cattle dog, or what most folks call a red heeler, who was just 8 months old at this time. It was in August of 2009. Even though Mike Laughlin is on his shady side of 70 at the time this story took place, he still liked to stay busy on horseback. Lee also is a sure enough good hand with horses and cattle in her own right, and sometimes rides alongside Mike. On this day, Mike and Lee loaded their horses into their stock trailer and their 2 cow dogs in the pickup. There was a red Angus bull someplace that needed to be found. Mike and Lee set out for the water tank where the bull had last been seen. Mike spotted the bull maybe 100 yards away lying down, and the bull spotted Mike. The bull weighed about 1,800 pounds and was apparently in no mood to be messed with. As soon as he saw Mike, he jumped up and charged. There was no way that Mike, in cowboy boots and spurs, could outrun the bull back to the pickup, and there were no trees or brush that he could get behind. Hoping to dodge the bull, at the last second, Mike faced him head-on and got freight-trained. The bull's head slammed Mike right in the sternum, turned and charged again, attacking Mike on the ground. Mike figured he'd ridden his last roundup. Lee saw what was happening. She and the dogs ran toward Mike. The bull charged Lee. He hit Lee from behind and threw her in the air. That's when both dogs sprung into action. The dogs succeeded in driving the bull away from the battleground and kept him at bay, while Lee helped Mike get to the pickup. Lee whistled for the dogs, who jumped in the back of the truck, and they sped toward the nearest hospital 22 miles away. Turns out, Mike had all of his ribs broken on the left side, a cracked rib on the right side, and a cracked sternum, plus 14 stitches over the right eye, with his left arm hanging down useless from a torn rotator cuff. Lee was seriously bruised, but there were no broken bones. But don't worry, amigos. Both he and Lee are on horseback again, and both are forever grateful to Tip and Taz, believing that the bull would have killed them both if it weren't for their dogs. Lee said, "They both have a home with us for the rest of their lives." Good dogs, old Tip and Taz, and it's just like we often say on this show, cow dogs are special. Add to that a good horse, and you could say a cowboy never rides alone. You've been listening to the Heroes and Heroines File on the Free Range Texan podcast. For information concerning this and other segments of our program, go to freerangetexan.net. Free Range Talent File is looking to see if you're looking to be on the Free Range Texan podcast. Calling all talent, all kinds of music, country and western.
That never gets old.
Folk music, rock and roll, cowboy poetry, or maybe you just tell a good story. Talent
his talent. Maybe your talent will make the cut on the Free Range Talent File. If you've got talent, or if someone you know has talent, submit their name and telephone number to info@freerangetexan.net. They'll probably get a call to talk about podcast stuff, and you could be our next guest on the Free Range Texan Talent File. Go ahead, send it in. 18PR Studios has plenty of tour bus parking. It's a telephone interview, and we'll probably end up playing one of your recordings. You can do this. Okay, turn the effects back on. Email submissions to info@freerangetexan.net. Your friends, relatives, girlfriends, family, boyfriends, or all of the above could be listening to you as our next guest on the Free Range Talent File, providing a home for talent. The Free Range Texan Podcast. It's time now for another segment of Free Range Talent, brought to you by 18PR, bringing a host of creative media production and public relations services to our exclusive list of clients. Maybe you could hire the A-Team. And now, here's the next segment of Free Range Talent. Derek Bohl, welcome to the Free Range Texan.
How are you?
We're sitting in Derek's studio in Lubbock, Texas, part of Amusement Park Productions. These guys are, dare I use the term, a bit cutting edge for the community of Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that out of West Texas comes remarkable talent. It has always been so. Now, a lot of people may wonder who's got their finger on top of all that. You are a music producer. How did you get started in this business?
Some artists here in town called Tom and Sherry Green. Now, I grew up in southwest Kansas, and Tom and Sherry Green were up there playing some shows on a tour, and I saw them when I was about 11 years old, and I was so enamored by what they were doing and playing music and just the vibes they were putting off. I had to have a drum, and I started playing drums in 6th grade. Parents were unhappy about all the racket I was making until I got about 15, then got a guitar, started writing songs, and kind of started recording my own stuff. Well, it came to college time. I talked to Tom and Sherry Green again, and they said, you should look at South Plains College, and ended up coming down here, put a band together, toured around Texas and Oklahoma and New Mexico and Colorado and all over the place for a while, and kind of got tired of that, and then got into recording, in the studio life, doing production for bands and my own stuff. And
you are a multifaceted, multi-talented guy. We don't generally, on the Free Range Texan, just run around looking at music producers as much as we do looking at singer-songwriters, music talent, cowboy poets, and so on and so forth. But when I met you, I began to realize that you had a lot of stuff in your briefcase. You are a talented musician, and folks, you'll take my word for it now. Hear me now, believe me later, because by the end of this interview, we're gonna go ahead and roll, with his permission, one of Derek's tunes. You are a songwriter, talent as far as studio engineer and music producer, because we know for a fact that you have a number of bands that are coming to you now wanting you to produce their product for them, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. And also, You produce your own music that we've been sitting here listening to, and it's hard to put this guy in a box because he has so much talent and he's doing so many things, and he's working in several genres with several different types of musicians and bands, and he is an interesting fellow. I have listened to your music, and it is as profoundly commercial and powerful. In fact, we were listening to one of your tunes a while ago, and I blurted out, "That's got movie theme all over it," and you just said, "Yeah, just off the cut. Yeah, that's where I'm headed." Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so YouTube is riddled with ads nowadays. And some of those ads happen to be really cool because they kind of based on your search history, they send you certain ads. And one of the ads they sent me on YouTube was one for a masterclass. A guy named Hans Zimmer, who has done probably several of your favorite movies, the soundtracks. I was watching that ad and I went straight over to masterclass.com and bought his masterclass video. One of my favorite quotes from him is, he's like, "I need 4 French horns up in the corner here, 4 more there, 2 behind us, 1 in the middle." And it just really fascinated me how he could conjure the spatial awareness of different instruments and what instrument, where it was, what type of room, and all these different variables that you could do, just out of thin air.
He's an artist.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's got a studio in LA, and they work on tons of movies. They probably do 20 movies soundtracks a year.
But he's in LA.
He is in LA.
Because it was understood in the music and the recording industry for decades that you needed to live in LA or New York or London. You're in Lubbock, Texas. It's not that way anymore, I guess.
To a degree, it is, but it's a lot easier to move stuff around over the internet. There is a thing about being in proximity to artists like that and being able to shake hands with them and see them face to face. But if you're able to do the job, for example, if you're doing some remote recording stuff, you can do that in your bedroom. As long as it sounds good, who cares where it comes from? Or it's not nearly as important as it used to be. But I really like it in Lubbock. It's calm. I grew up in the country where the nearest neighbors were 2 miles away. So I'm used to a very quiet, calm atmosphere, and Lubbock is the best of both worlds with the music community and also being a pretty calm, quiet town.
There are bands and singer-songwriter artists of different types that are beating a path to your door now.
I stay busy, though.
Why do you think that is? Because you, by far, are not the only studio in town.
Mm-hmm. I was actually having this debate with the studio owner, Scott Ferris, by the way, about good gear versus bad gear. Take, for example, you can have a $10,000 guitar and a beginner level guitar player. A bad guitar player isn't going to make a good guitar sound good, but a good guitar player can make a bad guitar sound good. Mm-hmm. So what I'm getting at is it's the people running it rather than the amount of equipment or the fancy gear and stuff, which we definitely have really nice gear, but we have the creative minds that's way more important.
Then a sound that you used to have to want to go to Nashville or New York or LA to get can be created in a studio right here in West Texas. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. And it depends a little more on the genre, because an EDM dance track can all be professionally done with a $300 laptop and a set of headphones. I'm dead serious. There was a guy a few years back, high school kid, $300 laptop, set of headphones, made a Grammy-winning EDM track.
Wow.
No kidding. And also the backstory behind him, he pirated a bunch of like audio programs and sample packs off the internet. So he made millions of dollars off of the most minimal hardware investment. But take that to, like, if you're wanting to record acoustic drums and guitar amps and acoustic guitars, stuff that you would hear in the country genre, you definitely have to have a good sounding room, good microphones, good player, of course. And so that's a little bit different environment to get the quality of product that you're looking for. Does that make sense? Different genres need different tools. It has to start with a good song. I find it really difficult to make a bad song sound good. But it's a lot easier to make a good song better.
Which one of your songs are we going to do?
We are going to do one called Meet Me in the Middle. Released it October of 2016. Did the whole touring thing, pushed it out. Because road life is very, very difficult. It'll wear you out. It will wear you out. This tune is called Meet Me in the Middle. At the time, several years ago, I was dating a Texas Tech cheerleader. I was young and naive, and I couldn't see that I was being played. And so this was my attempt to win her heart. So here it is. Meet Me in the Middle.
And I take it she's not around anymore.
She is not around anymore. That is true. Far long gone.
It has been a pleasure to introduce Derek Bohl, and here is his song, Meet Me in the Middle.
Well, I've never laid my eyes on anybody who shines the way you do. You got that pretty girl style others copy without the attitude. I tell you it's not easy for me to fall in love. Oh, but for you I might. And even though you might be sent from up above, it's this guarded heart of mine. And I will always hold you dear. You know, if you will meet me halfway here, baby, and I will love you if you meet
You've been listening to the Free Range Talent File. If you'd like more information about our guests, just go to our website at freerangetexan.net. Also, submissions to be interviewed on our program can also be submitted on freerangetexan.net.
Hello, this is Michael Sean. You know, the world of advertising and public relations has changed immensely over the last few years. Today's business owners, corporate executives, corporate trainers, from the mom and pops to the top Fortune 500 companies, have a whole new set of needs. At 18PR, we specialize in many of those needs. You need what you need, you want what you want, and you need it in a timely fashion. The people at 18PR have been on this roller coaster ride for over 3 decades and are figuring some things out. But it wasn't until the last couple of years that we rebuilt our playbook, bringing on board vital and new assistance in our creative services. And that's where you come in and win. From our clean, clear digital recording studio to our team of strategic media planners, 18PR's goal is to listen and help you find what you need in today's complex multimedia marketplace. Perhaps you could benefit from a fresh new face. Developing radio, television, print, oh sure. But the on-ramps to today's information highway can be a whole nother challenge. From social media to podcasting, let us help. You can find out about 18PR at a-teampr.com. And additionally, there's a link on the freerangetexan.net website because 18PR produces this program as well. So think about it and then make a move. And maybe you could hire the A-Team.
Hi, this is Michael Sean. Welcome to the campfire. My buddy Roger Dykes told me about a guy by the name of Sweep Up Billy. Now, Sweep Up Billy was known around Deadwood, South Dakota. No one really paid attention to Billy. He spent most of his time just trying to stay out of the way. Down on his luck, he landed a job at the biggest saloon in town. Now, Sweep Up Billy, as he came to be known, was in charge of keeping the floor from being covered with beer, whiskey, blood, and residue from various and sundry card games of chance. No one paid attention to Billy as long as he did his job. Sweep Up Billy's appearance would lead you to believe that he was wearing the same clothes that he came to town in and probably wasn't the sharpest chicken in the coop. At night, the owners of the saloon let Billy sleep in the back room. One day, Billy asked if he could spread sawdust out on the floor. He said he could just sweep it up and spread new sawdust in the morning. Well, the bartender said, "It seems like a lot of extra work there, Billy, but go ahead if you'd like." So each morning, Billy would spread sawdust over the entire saloon floor. The miners would trip and spill their drinks. The sawdust would soak it up. Same thing was true for blood or beer. It didn't stain the floor like it had before. After that, day after day, week after week, month after month, good old Sweep Up Billy would sweep up the sawdust and replace it with new sawdust. Now, I know what you're thinking. Thus, the tradition of having sawdust on saloon floors throughout the West, all traced back to an unnoticed, unschooled sweeper named Billy from Deadwood. Well, sometime after that, Billy left Deadwood. A few years later, one of the wealthiest gentlemen in the United States, William B. Martin, came to town, and everybody up and down Main Street was excited.
Imagine a big, remarkably wealthy railroad magnate coming to Deadwood, South Dakota. Why? They say he had enough money to buy the entire town. Everyone was curious, to say the least. You see, no one knew that this great man, admired for his financial prowess, his genius, was old Sweep-Up Billy. And very few people knew exactly where Billy, or should I say William B. Martin, got his stake to build his financial fortune. But rumor has it that he left Deadwood with a large amount of gold dust that he quietly collected night after night as he swept up at the Deadwood Saloon, sifting through the sawdust. Nice work, Billy. Oh, just another true tale. Well, I guess it just goes to show you never know who you're gonna meet around the campfire. I'm Michael Sean. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Adios, my friends.
We say get your snapshots in.
Or maybe just a selfie.
How many could be in the picture?
We really don't care.
The Free Range Texan Listener Posse. Is it just for Texans?
Anyone from planet Earth. Or not.
Okay, how do we send them in?
info@freerangetexan.net.
So we get the picture on the blog.
We'd have it no other way.
And we get the picture on the Free Range Texan Facebook page.
Yep.
And then we're official members of the Free Range Texan Listener Posse.
You want a little sugar with that coffee?
So, you're making us famous.
Yeah.
So I send the picture to info@freerangetexan.net.
And that will get her done.
How about I just bring it by the ranch out yonder?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm busy that day.
Thank y'all for listening to the Free Range Texan Podcast, produced at A-Team-PR Studios out yonder in West Texas, with our host, who's been voted the hardest working man in podcasting, Michael Sean. Feedback or submissions to our program can be submitted on our website, freerangetexan.net. That's freerangetexan.net. This is Sweetie Pie on behalf of Michael Sean and the crew here in Studio A, where we're all looking forward to spending time with you on our next bi-weekly episode of the Free Range Texan Podcast. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Tower, this is Free Range Texan Airways, Podcast 1, ready for takeoff.
Podcast 1, you're cleared for takeoff.
Nose up. Check wheels up.
Wheels up.
Reduce flaps. Mr. Sanders, take us to 10,000 feet. Bring us around to a course of south by southwest.
10,000 feet, south by southwest. Aye, Captain.
Engage autopilot.